Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope for October 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. I'm going to give you a rundown of what the planets are doing in October and how they're going to influence you. We've got some major things happening. We've got two eclipses occurring in October on the 14th and on the 28th. And an eclipse is when a new moon or a full moon is interrupted, and because of that interruption, you feel the influence of the eclipse for around 6 months. So these are really key things to look at. There's some other important things going on in October though. The first of those being Mercury going into Libra on the 5th of October. So Mercury is the communication planet. In Libra, it's very compromising and interested in forming relationships, seeing the other person's point of view, listening as well as talking. So Mercury in Libra kind of really sets the scene for you to have a good time connecting with other people. On the 9th of October, we have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and creativity. That goes into Virgo. So Venus in Virgo is in an earth sign. Venus is the creative planet, right? So in Virgo, it's able to express itself very easily through something like art or design or architecture or drawing or painting or dancing or something like that. But also Venus in Virgo is associated with being critical of relationships, I would say, particularly in this placement that you've got. Venus then opposes Saturn in Pisces. And what happens, I feel, is that even though relationships are good, I think you start questioning and asking what's really going on here. So I think that for a lot of Scorpios, there may be one or two people in your life who may not be telling you the entire truth, who may not be giving you the full picture. And I feel here in October, your intuition is heightened so much that you kind of pick up on anything that's off, really pay attention to those messages and poke them a bit, kind of look into them even more. And you'll start to get some really important information that may exclude someone from your life, or on the flip side, may confirm that this person is meant to be in your life. But ultimately, I feel that you get more clarity about the people in your life, why they're there, whether they have your best interests at heart, whether these people are trustworthy, and whether you should continue to use your energy in maintaining the relationship. Wow, that's kind of a tough one, I think. I mean, if I realize that my boyfriend is cheating on me, then that's not welcome news. And if I'm madly in love with him, then throwing him out because he has cheated on me isn't easy either. The flip side would be, I find out that someone has been, doing something really positive and hidden it because they didn't want, a round of applause or attention. Then that would then make me feel like, oh, that is good news and I can rely on this person. So ultimately, the truth is revealed, but it's not always just going to be an easy process. So on the 10th then, Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, that's in the sign of the worker, Capricorn. So it's interested in working towards something new. That goes direct. So in your case, Scorpio, you're going to start to see things in the physical, real world, in industry. You're going to see opportunities where you can slot yourself in, or where you can work differently, or where you can make changes to your career. It's your perception, so no one else is going to suggest this to you. It's something that is revealed to you, and then it's down to you to take action on that. So if you find a better way of working, please look into making that shift. On the 12th of, and Pluto goes direct, right? So it moves forward again. Retrogrades and direct, I don't pay as much attention to the outer planets because the outer planets spend about 6 months in retrograde. It's the personal planets where the retrogrades are really influential. But even with this outer planet, Pluto, it's the only one of the outer planets now that is direct. So Pluto is about affecting change, right? And in the sign of Capricorn and being direct, it's really about you having the understanding that certain things can change, and then the willingness to do the legwork and to actually affect the changes yourself. On the 12th of October, Mars goes into Scorpio, so Mars goes into your sign, and it stays there for the rest of the month. So when it comes to ambition and drive, you're really going to be fired up. And I think particularly around making changes to relationships that no longer work, you're going to be very matter of fact and say this has to be done. Like for instance, with the example of the cheating boyfriend, it's like, unless I want him to keep cheating on me, I'm going to have to do something here. Second of all, I think you're going to be very interested in working on your ideas or the realizations you've had around work. You'll be very, very eager to affect change in that area. And the strongest elements on this day, the 12th of October here in the middle of the month, are air and earth. And that kind of encapsulates this nicely because I can intellectually see what the problem is and what could be. I can kind of imagine that in my mind's eye. And I have the practical know-how to get there. So it's really down to you. You have a lot of control and the ability to affect changes in your practical life. On the 14th of October, we have the new moon in Libra. So a new moon is when the sun and the moon conjunct, your heart and your head are in the same place, and it pulls lots of energy in order to recharge for the next 28-day cycle. So you're being filled up with Libra energy here, but it's also a solar annular eclipse. So this new moon is interrupted and you'll access this energy for the next 6 months. But what's interesting is that the new moon is in Libra and you have Mercury, the communication planet, next to it. So like a satellite dish floating on the new moon, your heart and your head. And in Libra, they're both in your 12th house for you guys, Scorpio. That's the house of spirituality and spiritual strength. And Libra, instead of now being only focused on relationships with other people and making those better, connects you to the higher realms. And if anything doesn't make sense, you'll be able to get direct answers from the universe. And what I mean by that is, if you're questioning your relationship with a higher power, like you say, you know what, I'm a bit of an agnostic, I may believe there is a God or there isn't, I'm not quite sure, but looking at my life, I don't feel particularly blessed, so I'm not particularly bothered in God, like whatever. If that's where you're at and you're not quite comfortable with that belief system, then by deliberately communicating with that higher power, you'll be able to actually get somewhere. Like you're making the phone call and someone picks up, rather than just getting the answering machine, right? So you're really able to change your own belief system or your own perspective on your life and what it all means and what it's all about. I mean, you may think I'm being overly vague here, but I think that kind of thing is really important. If I feel I'm blessed and highly favored and the universe loves me and wants me to succeed, then of course I'm going to go into every day like with a swing in my step, and of course I'm going to win, right? Because the universe, the higher power, wants me to win, and that's the strongest force in the universe. How can I lose? On the flip side, if I think, do you know what, God hates me, that's why my appearance is the way it is and why I'm always alone and why nothing works, and you're not going to wake up in the morning going, hooray, time to live the curse again. So that's why I'm saying these ways of looking at things are really important. They color your whole experience. And factually, there's no difference between the two. If someone believes that the universe loves them, if someone believes that the universe hates them, you can't say one is right and the other isn't. I mean, it's more likely that the loved one is right, but you're not going to convince anyone of that. And in terms of your own perception, that's something that only changes when something drastic occurs. And you're like, maybe I have to reevaluate this. And that's what I'm getting here for you guys in October, that you have that moment. Maybe I should reevaluate my own being, my own place in the world, my own power, all of that stuff. So that's really good, because anyone who feels disempowered or who's in a situation that doesn't work, you're able to find another narrative or another connection that actually does work. On the 22nd of October, we have got Mercury going into Scorpio, your sign as well. So now we've got Mercury, communication, the transiting midheaven, your work, Mars, ambition, and Ceres, abundance, all in your sign of Scorpio, in your first house of self. So I really understand what I'm driven to do in my working life. I know what's going to make me feel abundant and good and prosperous. So I feel like it all comes together, like your perception of yourself in this world, and then at the same time, how do I operate? How do I create an income? How do I create value in this world? Those are the two key things that you're looking at this point in the month. On the 24th, the sun moves into Scorpio, so it's all you now. me. I've got access to all my energy, and you as a Scorpio are able to get to the core thing, and you're able to pluck that out and to look at it and to transform it and to heal it, to bring it to the light. So if there's anything that in your life feels like this isn't helping me, this is a negative influence, this is something that needs to change, you're able to shine the light on all of those things and to transform them. So you're really the alchemist here in October, and you have all your alchemical powers at your disposal. On the 28th of October, we have the full moon in Taurus. Again, that's interrupted by the eclipse. This one, it's a partial lunar eclipse. The full moon in Taurus, first of all, is your nemesis in the sense that it's 180 degrees away from your sign, right? You as a Scorpio, emotionally and intuitively can control and take charge of a situation. Taurus echoes that, but it does it in a practical sense. It controls the physical world more than the emotional. So now with this full moon in Taurus, all this Taurus energy is being showered on you, which ultimately leaves you feeling, I have total control of my own feelings, my own vision for the future. Excuse me. Sorry, I just burped. Excuse me. That's very uncouth of me. I have total control of my own feelings, and I have control of the physical world, and I can implement my changes that I desire to make. So it's an artist who has an idea for a picture and then actually paints it. So that's what you're able to do here. So Scorpios, you guys are going to have one of the best Octobers ever. Out of all of the signs, this is really like big in terms of what you're taking on, you know, the whole scope of my life. Sorry, Janine, I know. It's disgraceful. Okay, so that's what I get for you in October. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to audio reading with me. And in my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, numerology, and my intuition. I combine all four to answer any questions you may have. So if you're questioning what your ideal job is, or what's coming up in future, or your relationships, please do get in touch for a personal reading. Check out some of my other videos on the new moons and the full moons and these eclipses. I'll make those. The daily tarot reading I've got on this channel. Weekly horoscope. So have a look at those if you're interested. Have an amazing October, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.